Okay, so we're live on Facebook. Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to all of you at LUMS Live, our second session. The first one was on Thursday, and today the second session, and we have with us today an eminent panel of people. Let me introduce first and foremost, of course, Dr. Arshad Ahmad, the VC. He's always very generous with his time. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Arshad. We also have Dr. Kamran, who's the interim provost of LUMS and the acting dean of Mushtaq Ahmad Gurmani School of Humanities and Social Sciences and of Sheikh Ahmad Hassan School of Law. Dr. Kamran, welcome. We also have Dr. Adnan Khan, Dean, Office of Student Affairs, a difficult office to manage, I assume. He is the Associate Professor of Mathematics at the S. Sayyid Babali School of Science and Engineering. And last but not least, Ms. Marva Khan. She is the Assistant Professor of Practice, Sheikh Ahmad Hassan School of Law at LUMS. Thank you, all of you. I'd like to start off with Dr. Arshad. Dr. Sahab, last time हमने जो session किया था, many students came up with different ideas and suggestions and requests of what we call the fee question, कि fee को कम किया जाए, या खत्म किया जाए, या refund की जाए. What's LUMS' take on that? Because it is a complex idea. You know, you just can't refund fees. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I think it's an important question for students who obviously feel that, look, we are not at the campus right now. Things are different. And so why aren't we getting a break on our fees? It really is a legitimate and valid question. I think the question, however, is a little broader in its implications, as you implied, because you know, the question essentially for many of us boils down to this. Are we going to be proactive under the circumstances, or are we going to be reactive? In other words, if we are going to simply not continue like many other universities have decided to do and take a holiday for now or postpone this until the summer or perhaps even the fall, then I think we could take this question, you know, head on in terms of providing some tuition or some kind of fee relief. But for us, you know, school started today again. We have made enormous infrastructure reinvestments in the university. We have been preparing for this for weeks now. There are all kinds of training going on. And so the fee question really is one where we feel that we are not reacting, but we are proactively pursuing what we feel will strengthen your LUMS degree. And that means that it's going to be obviously not business as usual as you've experienced it in the past, but certainly in terms of learning and teaching, we are making all of the efforts that we have at our disposal to make sure that you can complete the semester and in fact give you more options in the summer and in the coming fall.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Kamran or Dr. Adnan, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, so let me actually pose an even more obvious to someone question, I think, and which is, okay, so fine, LUMS is, has gone online, LUMS is still delivering the course material, so we can understand about the tuition. What about the hostel dues? There are about a month and a half left, and why not reimburse those? And then my take on that is look, we don't operate on a daily basis, right? It's not like you pay us every day and then we do our expenses daily. There's a large lag. First of all, there are lots of expenses that have been incurred. And secondly, there are running expenses. We have a big staff that takes care of students in our dorms, and all those staff have to be paid. So it's not like we're closing down operations. People who take care of our dorms are very much there getting paid. They are staying home as per the government directives, but all these payments that LUMS has to make are also due at the same time. So I think unless we decide to close down, I don't see a very strong case for this. And the other point, of course, is something that my colleagues might echo, that if one cites North American universities that might have reimbursed some of the dues, then one needs to understand that a lot of North American universities run with huge endowments. LUMS basically relies to a great degree on tuition for its running and operational expenses. So that's another reason that we'd be hard pressed to do something like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And hopefully, we'll have some students who are satisfied with that. Dr. Kamran, बहुत सारे जो undergrads हैं, they're waiting for a decision. वो कह रहे हैं कि भी वो applicants हैं हम लोग और सब कुछ बंद हुआ है. When can we expect a decision on admissions? So what's LUMS' take on that? We can't hear you. Do you have your mute button pushed?
I apologize.
There you go. You can hear me. Go ahead.
No, so absolutely, basically, जो लोगों ने apply किया हुआ है LUMS में, the people who have applied are sort of waiting anxiously to hear from us. As you know, there are 2 or 3 things that the students themselves are aware of. एक ये कि SAT के जो exams March में होने थे, वो बुनियादी तौर पे postpone हो गए. So we only have about 55% of applicants who have taken SAT exams. The other thing, a large chunk of our applicants take the A-levels exam, which the Cambridge board has, or Cambridge University has postponed till October, November. So the kind of data we have on which we rely for admission has become a little different this year. Having said that, हम बुनियादी तौर पे ये देख रहे हैं कि हमारे 55% जो applicants हैं, उनके जो हैं SAT scores हमारे पास हैं. सैयद बाबर अली स्कूल ऑफ साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग में हमारा एक स्पेशल टेस्ट होता है. All the applicants for that school have taken that test. Of course, we have O-level results, and on the intermediate side, जब हम हमेशा इसी तरह करते हैं, हमारे पास first year के results हैं, metric के results हैं. अब कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी ने बुनियादी तौर पे ये कहा है कि वो इन लिeu ऑफ द अक्टूबर नवंबर एग्जाम्स, जब उन्होंने पोस्टपोन किया है मई और जून के एग्जाम्स को, वो एक बेस्ड ऑन देयर क्राइटेरिया एक स्कूल लीविंग सर्टिफिकेट देंगे. तो इन सारी चीज़ों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए हमारी जो एडमिशन कमेटी है वो एक नए सिरे से इन चीज़ों को देख रही है, और इस बुनियाद पे यानी कि जो SATs जिन्होंने दे दी हैं उनको इस्तेमाल करेंगे, जिन्होंने नहीं दी है हम होप करते हैं वो आइंदा कर लेंगे. उनके O-level के रिजल्ट्स हैं और जो दीगर हमारे पास उनके स्टेटमेंट्स हैं, लेटर्स ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन हैं, उनके बुनियाद पे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. लेकिन स्कूल लेवल लीविंग सर्टिफिकेट जो A-level का है वो भी बहुत ज़रूरी होगा. तो इस बुनियाद पे हम कंडीशनल ऑफर करेंगे. पहले हम लोग कंडीशनल ऑफर करते थे A-level के रिजल्ट्स पे, और A-level के रिजल्ट्स अगस्त में किसी वक्त आते थे और उस वक्त हम अपनी फाइनल ऑफर्स देते थे. लेकिन अब हम कंडीशनल ऑफर बेस्ड ऑन A-level की जो सर्टिफिकेट्स आएंगे कैम्ब्रिज से उस बुनियाद पे, और जो हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन है उस बुनियाद पे कर लेंगे. इंटरमीडिएट के भी एग्जाम पोस्टपोन हो रहे हैं, लेकिन इंटरमीडिएट का ये मसला है कि वो हम हमेशा फर्स्ट ईयर यानी कि 11th ग्रेड का जो एग्जाम होता था उस बुनियाद पे कंडीशनल ऑफर देते थे, और अगस्त सितंबर में जब रिजल्ट आता था तो उसको कंफर्म करते थे. तो हम इस तरह से आगे बढ़ें, और कब वो सुनेंगे, हमारे जो पहले ऑफर्स हैं इंशाल्लाह अप्रैल के दरमियाने उसमें 15-16 तक इंशाल्लाह हम जो है अपनी फर्स्ट ऑफर्स जो है वो भेज देंगे. अभी थोड़ी हम कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं जो वक्त, क्योंकि जिस तरह से स्कूल बंद हुआ और वो सब कुछ, तो हमारी कुछ ताख़ीर हो गई है, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह अगले 1-2 हफ्ते के अंदर we will be sending out our first offers.
Excellent, thank you, sir. Marva, in the last few weeks, not that earlier on ये नहीं था, but last few weeks we see an explosion of online courses and online learning tools. बल्कि मैं कहीं देख रहा था, I was searching for something कि जो $1000 का जो एक कोर्स था वो $30 के ऊपर उन्होंने they're trying to get enrollments for that. So tell us a little bit कि क्या students कर सकते हैं, what are the steps that they can take for signing up for these online learning tools? What should they be doing?
So I think you're absolutely right in mentioning that there's an inundation of the amount of online tools that are available at this point, not just in terms of various courses which have gone online, and many of the university level courses are also being offered for free to participants around the world. We also have libraries which are giving free access in many cases to their resources. So I think it's a time. Well, of course, these are trying times, and I understand that students have also been reaching out and saying things like they're losing focus and it's hard to concentrate. But in the longer run, I think after even right now, it's because we've been in sort of a lockdown for almost 3 weeks. I do feel that people are starting to get a hang of the new routine, or the lack thereof, so to say. So I think it's a good time to, I mean, and I've essentially compiled a list of resources, for instance, for which I'll be sharing with my own students, in terms of, you know, the courses or materials that are relevant for them in terms of the various courses I'm teaching. And I think some other faculty members are doing that, so that would be a good starting point. Another thing to do right now, which I would highly recommend for students, is to start to familiarize, you know, because not every student is very tech savvy, although most of them are, and there's a generation gap, so I really shouldn't be saying this. But nonetheless, I do feel that they should start familiarizing themselves with the various tools that are available. So whenever they're free and then do have internet access, it'll be a good thing to essentially open up various websites, see what they're offering, just browse them, to slowly and steadily start to get a hang of the various things that are available to them. And that will also really help them, especially for law students who have a lot of research content embedded within many of their course instruments. So I think that the new tools, while they can't physically be present in, let's say, in the LUMS library anymore, but I think these online tools really can help them in maneuvering the various instruments that will come their way going forward.
Okay, excellent. We have a question from our friend Noman Ayub, and I will direct this to Dr. Arshad, although other people are also free to answer this. Is LUMS making strategy only to combat current situation, or will we be doing some intervention which is going to be long-term as well? Dr. Arshad, is it a short-term thing? Agar kal ko lockdown khatm ho gaya and, you know, somehow we are rid of corona, will we go back to the older normal, or is this a long-term thing?
I think there is a consensus amongst all universities around the world that there won't be business as usual. There will be a normal, another normal. Yes, corona is not going to be here forever. It will come, it will go, but it will be a new normal. And for LUMS, we think of the new normal as one where our students get more value for their money, not less. And so to give them more value means they get more choices, number one. They also get, if we can improve quality, that's a bonus for them. If they are able to have more flexibility in learning anytime, anywhere, that's another plus point for them. So the responsibility we have as not only administrators, but every single faculty member has been spending enormous amounts of time, like Marva just explained, with their students, course by course. You know, there's some 340 plus courses that we have. People haven't just woken up to this yesterday. They have been working on this and they said, options kya hai? So we have a learning management system. Many universities don't, but we do. It's one of the best learning management systems in the world. It's called Sakai. We have, you know, some people who are using Moodle, which is another kind of a system, which we also have. We have all kinds of supports that are being offered through a PED Tech committee, which we discussed extensively by Dean Sabi Anwar, who's chairing and leading that committee. It's a cross-section of many people who are redoubling their efforts to give students, you know, not just what, you know, will get us through, but repositioning LUMS as a place where whether the new normal happens in the summer, it happens in the fall, or even if it happens next winter, we are thinking in the medium and long term. These are measures and investments that aren't just there as a temporary shelter for students. They are there permanently to give more options to students and to strengthen our offerings to them. So I think, make no mistake, we are basically not turning into an online university. By no means. We will always be a residential university. And the residential experience will always have the value that it has offered in the past. But what will be different is that we are, in fact, creating the kind of tools that are proven. You know, this is not like reinventing sliced bread. I mean, online education has been there for 35, 40 years. And the disruptions occurred in 2012 when MOOCs became the panacea for many universities. Now some 80 million people learn through MOOCs. That's a lot of people. And now you have countries like Pakistan and other countries, developed and otherwise, that are finding that, look, we have a much broader set of educational opportunities. It's time to harness that. And that's exactly what LUMS is doing.
Thank you. Marva, would you like to add to that? Is it a short-term thing or is it a long-term thing? Is there a paradigm shift here?
So I think just building on what Dr. Arshad just mentioned, we can't really predict what the new normal is going to be at this point in time. However, the one thing we do know for sure is that every faculty member right now, and even staff members, are thoroughly being trained in a diverse amount of various online tools. So it's not that we're saying that, oh, we had LMS and that's still the only thing we're going to continue to use. We've been sharing a huge amount of, like Zoom and of Microsoft Office tools, and others as well, like Dr. Arshad mentioned. And I think in terms of from within the law school, my conversation with some faculty members, even some of the facilities we already did offer, like in terms of online tools or various softwares, all the faculty members weren't really aware about them. So I think there's certainly going to be a shift once we do return to a residential sort of campus situation, because over the course of, let's say, the next month, or however long this continues, we will be tweaking all of these situations and all of these formats, and then come up with the best optimal sort of a version for each course, or each type of course for that matter.
Okay, Adil Fahim is asking, and I would direct this to Dr. Kamran. Convocation degree, हमने तो बड़ी मेहनत की है. Convocation का क्या होगा? हमारी degree कैसे होगी? What's the stance on that?
जी शुक्रिया. आई थिंक मुझसे और फिर शायद वाइस चांसलर साहब भी इस पे ही विल आल्सो मे बी हेल्प मी आउट हियर. देखिए, डिग्री तो इंशाल्लाह जो है, हम वी आर कमिटेड टू गिविंग एन ऑनलाइन कोर्स व्हिच इज नो लेस देन the kind of work that we were expecting from our students prior to this. Or once the grades are in and all the assessments are done, those who are graduating seniors will be eligible for a LUMS degree as before. तो वो तो डिग्री का तो बिल्कुल कोई ऐसा मसला नहीं है. वो तो इंशाल्लाह रजिस्ट्रार्स ऑफिस से सारी चीज़ें, all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and इंशाल्लाह आपको अपनी डिग्री मिल जाएगी. जहाँ तक कॉन्वोकेशन का सवाल है, वो बुनियादी तौर पे हमारे ऊपर नहीं है. वो जो हालात आजकल हैं वो सबके सामने हैं. हम अगर बहुत आप स्टूडेंट्स को और उनके वालिदैन को और उनके अजीज़ अकारिब को अगर हम लाते हैं 4-5 हज़ार लोगों को कैंपस पे, फर्ज कीजिए जुलाई की पहली तारीख को या जुलाई के पहले हफ्ते में, ये शायद मुमकिन ना हो, क्योंकि उस वक्त तक के हालात का हमें पता नहीं है. तो हमने ये कमिट किया है, वाइस चांसलर साहब ने और सारी लीडरशिप ने ये कमिट किया है कि हम ज़रूर कॉन्वोकेशन करेंगे, और लेकिन उसको पोस्टपोन कर दिया जाएगा उस वक्त तक जब हम सेफली अपने तुलबा को और उनके वालिदैन को वापस ला सकें. तो दैट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ दी. लेकिन डिग्री जहां तक ताल्लुक है, वो तो बुनियादी तौर पे आपका हक है, आपने सारा काम किया है, और हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी जो है उस सनद को देने के लिए कोई उसमें ताखीर नहीं करेगी. जैसे ही ग्रेड्स होंगे और सारे असेसमेंट्स हो जाएंगे, वी विल बी ऑफरिंग यू डिग्री. मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली इट विल कम टू यू बाय मेल, or if by that time you may be able to come to personally pick up. We don't know the situation, right? I mean, हमें अंदाजा नहीं है कि हम कब लोगों को कैंपस में वापस बुला सकेंगे. तो मेरी तो मतलब गुजारिश है कि आप बिल्कुल परेशान ना हो, और डिग्री तो जाहिर सी बात है मिलेगी, और कॉन्वोकेशन का जहां तक ताल्लुक है वो शायद थोड़ा पोस्टपोन हो जाए.
Okay, Dr. Arshad, would you like to add to that?
Thank you, Kamran, and thank you, Adil. And thank you for the question. देखें, ये बहुत important सवाल है, especially for the graduating class, right? And so, I think one thing we haven't said yet, and it needs to be said, and I know my colleagues share this, is that when you have such a catastrophic kind of a situation that we all find ourselves in, I mean, we are all very sensitive to that. Every faculty member is, every staff member is, and so are the students. They realize this is like an unbelievable, ये कहाँ हवा में, ये कहाँ से आ गया ये तूफान. And इसके लिए देखें, हम तैयारियां जरूर कर रहे हैं, सोच रहे जरूर हैं, नए systems लगा रहे हैं, लेकिन एक चीज जो हमने अभी तक आपसे share नहीं की है, maybe with equal emphasis, is that this is also a time where we are giving all kinds of other sensitive options for students to also make decisions. This is not just only faculty and staff and administration deciding. So मैं आपको मिसाल देता हूँ. अब ये कोई graduate कर रहा है, उनको 4-5 courses चाहिए graduate करने के लिए. तो normally ये होता है कि आप pass हो, fail हो, फिर आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं क्या होता है. इस दफा because the circumstances are extraordinary, we have laid out 3 clear options for students after they have completed their courses. This is to account for the variability of how they're being assessed and the instruction that remains until May 8th. So by June, when all the marks are done, they will be presented these marks. उनके 3 options क्या हैं? एक option तो ये है कि आपको जो grade मिला है वो आप मुनासिब समझें और आगे चलें. ठीक है? You worked hard, you got a good grade or satisfactory grade, you go ahead. The second option is that you can choose to pass. You might say, okay, I just need a pass. That's all I want. I don't care about the grading of A, B, C, D, but a pass is good enough for me, and that does not affect your GPA, by the way. The third option is that you feel that, look, I didn't really get a chance to put in my full effort, and I need another chance. And that is why we have created 2 extra semesters in the summer, 1 month long each. So you have 2 more chances to complete your courses, which is what a lot of people are saying, postpone kar dein, postpone kar dein. अगर आपको वाकई में postpone करना है, आप रुक जाएं, नहीं करें participate इस term, अगले term करें. हम आपको सब options दे रहे हैं यहाँ पर. तो ये बहुत, it's a very important thing to remember. We are not forcing anybody to do anything. We are just creating options, and we are especially sensitive to our graduating students. It is in our interest that they graduate. We, as Kamran Saab said, you know, we value all the effort, give them all the respect that they are due. And as far as celebration is concerned, I think I'll remind everyone that there was a time, not that long ago, when graduation was actually done in December, not in June. So this is not going to be the first time. And what we do want to assure everyone is that when we celebrate, my goodness, are we going to celebrate? This is going to be the biggest celebration ever. So let's look forward to that as well.
Excellent. And, you know, we'll have to wait for that. Dr. Adnan, you know, you have a difficult office to hold. I'm sure students come with all sorts of problems and issues. What facilities at LUMS can students take advantage of, especially their physical and mental well-being? कोई खास चीज जो उनको करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए? How would you respond to that?
देखिए, सबसे पहले जब हमें मालूम हुआ और अंदाज़ा हुआ कि अब हम ऑनलाइन जाएंगे या कम से कम 2 हफ्ते के लिए कैंपस बंद किया जाएगा और एक वबा फैल गई है, तो जो हमारे जहन में पहली चीज़ आई कि लोगों की मेंटल वेलबींग को इंश्योर करना चाहिए है. हमारा एक काउंसलिंग ऑफिस है which is very well equipped in terms of its staff to handle student issues. वो फौरन ऑनलाइन हो गए. तो उनसे अब ऑनलाइन काउंसलिंग चल रही है. ये एक ईमेल में अरशद ने भी और कामरान ने भी स्टूडेंट्स को आगाह कर दिया था इस बात से कि वो वहाँ ईमेल करें. जो स्केड्यूलर हैं हमारी, वो उनका अपॉइंटमेंट सेटअप करेंगी और उन्हें ये रहनुमाई देंगी कि किस तरीके से कनेक्ट होना है ऑनलाइन विद अ काउंसलर. तो ये तो ऑलरेडी हो चुका है. दूसरी तरफ हमारे जो सोसाइटीज़ हैं, स्टूडेंट सोसाइटीज़, हमारी कैंपस क्लाइमेट मैनेजर और जो सोसाइटीज़ की इंचार्ज हैं हिबा, उन्होंने सोसाइटी से रब्ता किया है. जल्द ही ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम भी शुरू हो जाएंगे ताकि स्टूडेंट्स कम से कम घर बैठे हुए अकेले तन्हा महसूस ना करें, एक कम्युनिटी का सेंस रहे. स्पोर्ट्स के हवाले से जाहिर सी बात है, स्पोर्ट्स ऑन कैंपस तो आना इस वक्त मुमकिन नहीं है, लेकिन स्पोर्ट्स वालों के साथ इस वक्त बातचीत चल रही है कि वो कुछ एक्सरसाइज प्रोग्राम्स डिज़ाइन कर दें, स्टूडेंट्स को मेल कर दिए जाएंगे वो, और वो अपने घर पे उनको फॉलो करें तो फिजिकल वेलबींग इस तरीके से उनके इंश्योर हो सके.
Excellent, thank you. We have 2-3 questions, but before we go to those questions, I have a question for Marva, and then a similar question to Dr. Kamran as well. But first to Marva. Much of what students need to learn is kind of what we call hands-on practice. So agar wo students classroom mein nahi honge, how will they do that? How can some skills, for instance, be taught online? Can you help us with that?
Absolutely. So in the law school, that's a big concern because we have both types of courses, right? Because we have a very theory-intensive courses along with very hands-on practical skill-oriented courses. And I happen to be teaching, let's say, both types of courses this semester. So because we have a gender clinic, and for that, the main chunk of the course that was left was clinical experience or fieldwork experience for the children, for the students, sorry. So one thing we've done in that particular course is to organize or connect the students with the institution that there's a firm called the Digital Rights Foundation, which they had to work with. So now we've connected them online. So in terms, not just like email correspondence, but they will essentially be, because those institutions too now have a work from home policy going on because of the pandemic. So there essentially we have Zoom meetings for them. Similarly, there's courses which have mock trials part of the syllabus or as a graded instrument, and those essentially can be done through Zoom or other similar platforms as well. And that's essentially what we are planning right now.
Okay, we have a question from Moiz Ahmad, the similar to one that I had in mind, and I'll direct it to Dr. Kamran, somewhat similar. And he's saying how technical courses are being managed, such as coding courses. And I'll go a step further, for instance, science courses. If kids have to go to laboratories with beakers and chemicals and all those apparatus, what about those courses? How can they be taught online? And how do we satisfy the students there?
जी शुक्रिया दिल साहब. देखिए, yeah, there are wide-ranging laboratory practices and computer labs, and then data analytical labs, and that deal with chemicals and reagents, and so for all this, of course, the best point of contact और जो जिन लोगों से उनको राब्ता करना है वो आपके इंस्ट्रक्टर हैं. And हमें बिल्कुल इस बात, of course, they are also reaching out to you. ये है, लेकिन of course हम ये समझ रहे हैं कि to the rest of the semester, how does one sort of जो lab work है वो किस तरह से हम complete करेंगे. And ये मुश्किल बात है, virtual labs का जो मसला है, और तो किस तरह से हम laboratory work को एक तरह से theory of experiments या thought experiments के हवाले से उसको convert किया जाए, and how the instructors are really thinking along with the students of assigning work to analyze experimental data, and perhaps even do it yourself practical work that can be easily done at homes. So ये आपकी जो सवाल है ये बहुत ही ज़रूरी है, लेकिन I think there are creative ways and that instructors are trying to deal with this in the science school. मेरी कुछ लोगों से बात भी हुई है और डीन साइंस स्कूल सभी अनवर डॉक्टर साहब से भी बात हुई है, और वहाँ यही कोशिश की जा रही है कि जो तुलबा के साथ मिलकर इस तरह की कुछ चीजें की जाएं जिससे जो करिकुलम है या जो कोर्स वर्क है वो कंप्लीट हो, और they are trying to explore new and exciting dimensions to this kind of practical work. So it's something that's ongoing, and hopefully in this next few months that we will be able to discuss and talk about these things. We will there'll be a refinement in these processes, but definitely we understand the challenges. But again, like I said, the instructors are in touch with students and they're trying to find creative and practical ways to address it.
Excellent. Dr. Adnan, would you like to add to what Dr. Kamran just mentioned?
जी जी, इसमें कामरान ने जो बात कही कि इंस्ट्रक्टर जाहिर सी बात है अपने कोर्सेज के हवाले से बेहतर बता सकते हैं, लेकिन 2-3 कॉन्क्रीट एग्जांपल्स मैं दूं. मैं खुद एक कोर्स पढ़ा रहा हूं जिसमें कोडिंग उसका एक एसेंशियल हिस्सा है. कोडिंग आप कैसे किसी को सिखाएं? वेल, आप सूडो कोड बनाकर, यानी जो जिसमें सिंटेक्स नहीं हो वो डाल देते हैं ऑनलाइन. ये मैं पहले भी करता रहा था, और उसकी मदद से स्टूडेंट्स बुनियादी कोडिंग क्योंकि हम पढ़ा देते हैं पहले साल में साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग में, उसकी मदद से वो अपना कोड लिख लेते हैं और वो सबमिट कर देते हैं ऑनलाइन. इसी तरीके से सर्किट थ्योरी के पी स्पाइस एक सॉफ्टवेयर है, उस पर आप सर्किट्स बना सकते हैं. तारों को जोड़ के टाके लगाना जाहिर सी बात है उसका अपना एक स्किल सेट होता है, लेकिन इस तरीके से. और ये बहस इस सारे मसले से बहुत पहले ये बहस चल रही थी कि क्या हम तमाम एक्सपेरिमेंट्स को इन सिलिको ले जा सकते हैं, और फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री छोड़े तो बायोलॉजी के लिए बहस चल रही थी कई जगह पे. तो इतना अनडूएबल नहीं है, एकदम से तब्दील करना 180 दर्जे पे शायद मुश्किल हो, लेकिन इट हैज बीन डन इन प्लेसेस टू वेरियस डिग्रीज.
Bilkul theek. Thank you. And of course, we're all learning and we're all grappling. Hopefully, we'll find ways. My next question is for Dr. Arshad. There's a tremendous impact on everywhere in the world, globally. Economics ka bahut bura haal hai, US mein, Europe mein, and also in Pakistan. And of course, the graduates or future graduates are worried about their placement and their jobs. What's your guess in the next few months? What do you think the job market would be like?
Well, great question. I mean, that every politician on earth is trying to grapple with, whether you are from a fully highly rich, resource-rich country or whether you are from a developing country. This is a global question of great importance. And people are coming up with, as you know, different suggestions. Some are making giant transfers directly into the pockets of households. Others are trying to feed a big system so that liquidity is afloat and यानी कि कारोबार चलता रहे. तो अब हम जो अब सोचते हैं with our own prospects for students who are graduating, obviously the same opportunity sets are not going to be there. I mean, let's face some facts. When you are going to graduate, you are not going to have the same internship opportunities, the same क्या कहते हैं businesses hiring as the way they used to, because they are themselves so constrained. But you won't be the only ones. And for me to say this may not be of much consolation कि हमको जादू से ऐसी companies को identify करके आपको job secure कर दें. हमने ये कभी जिंदगी में नहीं किया है. लेकिन हमें ये देखना है कि where would a LUMS graduate stand relative to all other graduates that they are competing with for these jobs. And the answer is, I think, quite clear, that whatever you've heard so far from all of my colleagues is that we are trying to strengthen your degree, that you are going to be coming out stronger than you would have pre-corona. I say that with some confidence because, a LUMS degree was never about trying to train people for a specific job. It was to develop a mindset in which you are able to think on your feet, which you can adapt to, where you are resilient, where you show leadership qualities, and most of all, where you show a care and compassion for others, and an ability to serve others. And what better time than today than to show those qualities where you have an opportunity to not just put on your resume, but really do the kinds of things that you didn't have a chance to do so far, but now you can. To serve your own home is obviously number one importance to everybody, but it goes much further than that. As we see in Pakistan, people don't have 2 meals to feed their families. We can all do our part here, and this is leadership in action. And believe it or not, it will be counted when you will apply for your jobs. This will be a question I can guarantee you an employer will ask. What did you do in this time? What was your own, how did you change? आपने personally, क्या किया? आपने खुद कैसे आप grow और develop हुए? तो ये बहुत important सवाल हैं हमारे students के लिए, और वो हमें सिखा सकते हैं. वो हम खुद नहीं बल्कि हमें सिखा सकते हैं कि acts of kindness, acts of leadership, acts of compassion go a long way. So in this historic time, I think we will be better off, our students will be better off, if we think beyond the immediate job, but we position ourselves in becoming better citizens, in becoming better peers, in becoming better friends, and taking care of each other. So I hope that is helpful for our students.
Excellent. And that just changes the perspective completely, where from looking for a job shifts to being a better human being, and key words here, compassion and cooperation. And I'll add another word to that, character. And I think it'll be great for companies of the future to ask, what did you do in those times? What did you do? I think that's a great question. I have a question for Marva, and then we have a few questions which are slightly academics. But first, Marva. Marva, suppose this pandemic just goes away next week or tomorrow. Would there be anything different in the law school, or would it come back to its normal? Would you change anything about the way teaching is being done there? Has there been any permanent change, you think?
So I think that to some extent, some changes essentially cannot be done away with at this point in time. For instance, we have tweaked the course outlines again over the last couple of weeks in order to make sure that we essentially can cover the maximum amount of content, but in a more efficient form of delivery methods as well. In addition to that, we've essentially also tweaked some of the co-graded instruments that still remained. So I think at this point in time, let's say if students were to return back to campus in a week or so, we can't completely undo all the changes that have been done, just in order to maintain some level of consistency, because the students have now sort of made their peace with the new normal, which is the new current normal, not the new hopeful normal that we're aspiring to. So in that sense, essentially, I think some of the graded instruments which have been changed will remain as they are. Also, I think the other issue right now would be that we've lost a lot of time as well. How the original courses were planned, there was, like the spring break that has just like gone on for like 3 weeks, and of course it's not the same mindset anymore as well. So that's also taken away a lot of time, teaching time essentially, that we had. So in that perspective, of course, yes. And also I think there's the new tools that at least some of us, at least in the law school, are quite excited about. The new tools we've just been trained over the last 2-3 weeks. So I think we'll continue to use some of them as well.
Okay, I have 2-3 questions, and anyone who wants to volunteer to answer those. We have a question from Sayyid Hassan Zakaria, and he's asking, would SAT be compulsory for those students, despite getting a conditional offer, whose test had been cancelled on March 14th? Who would want to respond to that?
I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Dekhiye, like I said earlier, we would expect people to reschedule SATs as soon as possible. But if it is not possible, we have other information, and based on that, we will, or if you have taken a SAT before and you have not submitted it, your grades, because you thought that you would submit the results from the March exams, because that may we wanted to improve. आप अपना पुराना भेज दीजिए, लेकिन इसको हम एक पूल में सब चीज को शामिल करेंगे इस वक्त, क्योंकि आधे से तकरीबन आधे बच्चों ने SAT नहीं दिया है. हम उनको जो है उस तरह से नहीं शामिल करेंगे अपने डिसीजन में जिस तरह से पहले किया करते थे. And everyone will have a equal opportunity. We will go with the, like I said, the A-level certification, the information we have on your statement, your letter of recommendation, your O-level results, your metric results. और intermediate वालों को ये भी बता दूं कि उनके first year results जो होते हैं, अब जो आपको सबको अंदाजा होगा कि intermediate में 11वीं जमात के अपने results होते हैं और 12वीं जमात के भी results होते हैं. तो सिर्फ metric नहीं हम शामिल करते, हम 11वीं जमात के results को भी देखते हैं, उनके नतीजों को भी देखते हैं. तो लिहाजा to be very concise again, SATs अगर आप reschedule कर सकते हैं तो कर लीजिए. अगर नहीं होगा तो हम जो भी आपने मटेरियल हमें भेजा है उसके बुनियाद पे आपके एप्लीकेशन को देखेंगे, और उसमें हम किसी के साथ इस तरह से तफरीक नहीं करेंगे. हम बुनियादी तौर पे बहुत सारे हमारे पास पैरामीटर्स होते हैं इन चीज़ों को आपके एप्लीकेशन को जांचने के लिए.
Excellent, thank you. Next question for Dr. Adnan, but if anybody else wants to volunteer, please do that. Apart from we have a very clear environment and a bluer sky, any other thing that you think is a good takeaway from this lockdown, from this situation? Anything that we've learned, maybe the LUMS community has learned about itself in the last few weeks?
जी देखिए जाहिर सी बात है, the situation is something which is a tragedy, right? But out of this we have found many of our students have been helping out in their communities. They've gone back to where they come from, various rural areas, for example, in far-flung rural areas of Punjab, and they have been coordinating relief efforts. So this is exactly what we want to inculcate in our students. A good citizen is what should come out of LUMS, and we have seen that LUMS has been successful, and our students have risen up to this challenge. So that's something I think I am very proud of for our students. Secondly, I mean, our emergency response, how do we change? So proactive online learning. It's not just that with the LUMS students, we did this at this juncture because we were forced to. We had been thinking about going partially online, not for our courses, but for outreach efforts, and also develop some good online courses for quite some time now. So that was sort of given an impetus, if you will. What the outcome of this could be that we reach a much wider audience at the LUMS students with our online courses. So that would be something contributing to the education of a nation. I think that's, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. We have a question from Muhammad Khizr Siddiq, and he's asking, will spring intake be introduced / increased for students taking their A-level exams in October, November? Anybody who wants to respond to that?
Yeah, देखिए बात ये है कि we want increase, decrease. Like I said earlier, we are going to base our assessments on the school leaving certificate that Cambridge University will offer. And we would encourage people, if we are not, the point is that if we bring people in and we force them to take their exams in October, November, they just won't have the time if they're taking courses at LUMS, whether online or in residence, right? So the point is that we are going to honor the school leaving certificate that the Cambridge University will give. Up now, if that whole system collapses, of course, we will go back and reassess. It's a flexible model. It's a unique situation. It's a, one in sort of generation kind of a situation we are in, that we do not have all the variables or all the information that we need normally to, but what we are relying on are certain kinds of information that we do have. And one of them would be the school leaving certificate that Cambridge University is going to offer us. So at this stage, we will, if people cannot give till October, November, that is fine, but they should have the school leaving certificate on the A-level side. Now, having said that, in any case, over the next, they will have the school level leaving certificate. For the intermediate, people who are doing intermediate, over the next year or two, they will have to have the intermediate results, because that is also an HEC requirement, that in once they finish their 4-year degree, they have to have a school leaving certificate. So in that case, we will require eventually the intermediate higher secondary certificate.
One quick question for Dr. Arshad, and then we have more questions from students. Dr. Arshad, because time has been lost, so to speak, not really, but academic-wise, do you think the summer semester would be a more rigorous semester this time? Would you change something about the summer semester? Would it have, would you put more courses in there? Is that a possibility?
Compared to last year or the year? We have been thinking about a summer semester long before this pandemic came to us. And the idea was really one where we wanted to make the campus more accessible. We wanted to make courses more accessible. And we also wanted to give choices to students, to spread their workload, because sometimes they're taking 6 courses in a term and they get pretty stressed out with that. I mean, who wouldn't? And so some classes that were just too full, they weren't available. There are many, many reasons for having a summer semester. So we had been planning and thinking about this over time. Now, some people say, hey, the summer semester is much shorter than the regular semester. But the fact is the contact hours are exactly the same. It's just more compressed. And what that means is you learn more intensely. You don't learn less, you learn more intensely. It's not for everyone. Just like online learning, let me just say this as well. A lot of studies will show that people who tend to be discovery learners, who like to discover things, wander off, try this, try that, they love this environment. They like to do this. There are many other people who find that structure is very helpful to them. They want to be told, "Aap ye pehle kare, phir ye kare, phir ye kare." They are, it's nothing, it's not that a discovery learner is better than a structured learner, but alag approaches hoti hain, each to his own. And what summer school is doing is really providing more choices to people. There are 2 terms now, and as I mentioned, we will have a lot more courses than ever before. And all of this we think is a good thing for students, and we hope that they will take advantage of this. It is also, I'll end with this thought, it is also a good thing for our faculty and staff, because they are not used to teaching online. And they are discovering, as Marva has said, and as my colleagues have said, this is a way to think again about pedagogy first, technology second. So we are thinking in those terms. And, the technology is just a platform. We want to make sure our students get a chance to learn as best as they can with the choices that they have.
excellent, new terms for me, discovery learner and a structured learner. I don't know which one I am. Ahad Masood has a question and he's asking, are the grades which Cambridge is awarding based on expected grades and transcripts acceptable for getting admission? Dr. Kamran?
Cambridge is creating a criteria and it is speaking to different schools, and we know firsthand because we are always working with the counselors and the principals and the leadership in different high schools that we recruit from. So we are not directly in touch with Cambridge, but people are, and Cambridge is still creating a criteria based on A1 or first year A-level results or O-level results or what have you. So these are things once that criteria comes in. So for us, having that school leaving certificate from Cambridge would be one amongst many things that we are going to look at, of course, right? So we are going to look at, that is one thing that अच्छा इन्होंने अब अपनी high school खत्म कर दिया, इनके पास सनद है, ये तो एक चीज हुई. अब उसमें वो जो पहले हम कहते थे कि ये ग्रेड होगा, वो फला ग्रेड होगा, वो उस तरह से तो स्कूल लिविंग सर्टिफिकेट नहीं देंगे. वो एक बुनियादी क्राइटेरिया होगा, एक बेसलाइन होगा, उस पर वो सबको कहेंगे कि आप सबको ये मिल गया है. And that's a unique thing that they are trying to do, especially for, I suppose they're doing it in England, but especially for international students, because there are pressures about getting in, not only here, दुनिया भर में admissions की जरूरत है. अब और ये कोई ऐसी यूनिक बात नहीं है. यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में जो दाखिले होते हैं वो 11वीं जमात के रिजल्ट्स पे होते हैं ज़्यादातर, क्योंकि वहाँ एप्लीकेशंस जो है वो पहले चले जाते हैं दिसंबर बिफोर एडमिशंस हैपन. उसके अलावा हम क्या देखेंगे, वो तो स्कूल लेवल सर्टिफिकेट. फिर हम देखेंगे कि अगर उन्होंने उनके ओ लेवल्स में कैसे रिजल्ट्स थे, उनके लेटर्स ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन कैसे हैं, अगर तो मुख्तलिफ क्राइटेरिया होगी. लेकिन जो how Cambridge decides to offer you your school living certificate is something that they will have to decide. We will just honor what they give us.
Okay, two more questions. Ahmad Arshad is asking, will admission decision be delayed for fall 2020? Is there a possibility?
There is a very slight delay. We are literally only a couple of weeks behind. And like I said, by the middle of April, we will be sending in our first offers. So we have all the applications in, fortunately. And if people have not been able to upload, our LMS system is active, and they can also write to the admissions office or call them, and they will help you out. But definitely we have all the applications in, and we are doing our assessments right now. There are certain kinds of decisions that have to be made at the leadership level. And once that information is plugged in, we will be sending out our first offers, hopefully by middle of April. So if there is a delay, it's a very slight delay. Normally we would send it by late March or the last 10 days of March. We're just about a couple of weeks behind.
One more question. Azan Ashar, my friend, is a National Outreach Program applicant, and he says, please tell us about the NOP LUMS 2020 announcement. I've applied for the National Outreach Program coaching session. Uska kya hai? Is that also delayed for now?
देखिए कोचिंग सेशन का ये है, एप्लीकेशंस कोचिंग सेशन का ये है कि हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि जुलाई तक, क्योंकि कोचिंग सेशन नॉर्मली जुलाई और अगस्त के महीनों में होती हैं, और हम ये कोशिश, अगर इंशाल्लाह हालात बेहतर हुए तो वी विल डेफिनेटली ब्रिंग देम ऑन कैंपस एंड हैव दोस काइंड्स ऑफ सेशंस ऑन कैंपस. अगर नहीं होता है तो हमें जाहिर सी बात है कुछ और चीज़ सोचनी पड़ेगी, और ऑनलाइन हवाले से हमारी और भी कुछ इस तरह के प्रोग्राम होते हैं असली के हवाले से, जो हम फर्स्ट ईयर जो सेकेंड ईयर में जा रहे होते हैं, हम उनका भी अभी बात कर रहे हैं कि उनको भी हम ऑनलाइन कर लें. और जैसे अरशद साहब ने फरमाया, बिल्कुल ही सही है कि इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि हम अगर ऑनलाइन जाएंगे तो उसकी जो नौयत है या उसके जो लेवल ऑफ रिगर जो है वो कम हो जाएगी. हम बड़ी मेहनत करके उन्हीं चीज़ों को जो है वो एक अब टेक्निकली उसको ऑनलाइन कर देंगे, लेकिन द काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट वी विल नॉट कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन दैट. तो ये क्योंकि ये जुलाई अगस्त में होता है, हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि शायद उस वक्त तक हालात ऐसे हो जाएं दैट वी कैन ब्रिंग देम ऑन, बट डेफिनेटली वी आर मूविंग अहेड विद द आइडिया दैट देयर विल बी सम काइंड ऑफ अ सेशन फॉर आवर NOP स्टूडेंट्स.
Dr. Arshad, would you want to add to that NOP question?
Yes, it's a great question because it speaks to the heart of something that is mission central for LUMS. So NOP, as you know, is a 20-year plus program we have been offering to students who find themselves in a financial position where they can't afford the fees, and their entire fee, boarding, lodging, everything is paid for. About 10% of our students are NOP students. But we also have, someone who doesn't get 130% of their tuition paid. What about the one who can't afford 99% of the tuition? What about the one who is 80% or 70%? Hum to 30% tak jate hain, which we consider significant. This is why 1 out of 3 students do get financial supports at LUMS. So this squares back to the first question you asked, Adil, which was, about should we slash our fees? I mean, if we're going to, jaise Adnan Saab ne kaha, if we're going to run our operations, a lot of our revenue comes from tuition. How can we support those operations? And then the money we raise through corporates and through philanthropy and so on. Governments to hame koi paisa nahi deta hai. Hum khud ye paisa, raise karte hain. And then we want to support those who are not fortunate to have high income levels to pay for the fees. So this is a fundamental question for LUMS. We are not going to compromise just like that. But at the same time, we have to be careful about the promises we keep. We cannot offer the moon to everyone and say, "Ke sabko hum," this is not an institution that will save people. It's an institution that will let people in who by merit deserve to be here and support them as to the best of our ability. So I think this is an important value that we have to keep in mind, that we are, in all our budgeting, we think first and foremost about the supports we can provide to get a diverse student body from all corners of the country, to keep that vibrancy and inclusiveness as a hallmark for LUMS education. अगर आप मुझे एक, if you give me permission, मैं एक और बात कह दूं जो I think बहुत ज़रूरी है, और उसमें ये है कि हम ये जो बात कर रहे हैं ऑनलाइन की, ये पूरी बातें चलते आ रही हैं कि new disruption and all the adaptation, and देखिए, I would beg all of our students, as I think all of my colleagues have pleaded to faculty, and they have told us the same thing. We're all reinforcing one singular message, and that is this. Look, you can't run away from challenges that come before you. So the fundamental question is, are you going to confront them now, or are you going to wait and follow others? We have decided at LUMS, we are going to confront them now. We want to be true to our mission as a school that can set some standards of leadership for others to benefit from. This is not to boast about anything. This is just to say that, look, for us, it will be a learning curve. It will not be easy. Learning online is not switching off koi aapne bijli chala diya, bijli band kar diya. This is a process. We are going to have some bumps. We need students to help us, just as a faculty do, and the other way around. And this is only going to be accomplished if we work together as one community. So it's a very important message for everyone to do their part and not just think about themselves. Think about the institution that you are going to represent and the institution that not only cares for you, but wants you to succeed.
Wonderful. Adnan, you want to add to that?
Just to add to Arshad's point, it's a two-way learning process, this online thing. And from the very trivial, मेरी handwriting बहुत खराब है, तो मैं मुसलसल practice कर रहा हूँ one note पे लिखने की, tablet पे, ताकि वो legible रहे. तो यानी technology part शायद इतना अहम नहीं है जितना pedagogy part है, जो कई बार दोहराई गई है बात. लेकिन बहरहाल technology भी उसमें कुछ ना कुछ hiccups आएंगे, as we sort of venture into this realm. हम पहले लोग नहीं हैं जो ये कर रहे हैं. MOOCs बहुत मौजूद हैं, बहुत अच्छे से मौजूद हैं बने हुए. तो इसलिए it would be a two-way learning curve, and our students, we need their help. We are working very hard. मैं तो कई बार लिख चुका हूँ वो document one note पे, जैसे मैंने कहा. So we are doing our part, and I would request our students to sort of also chip in and help us get through this.
Excellent. It reminds me of that saying that goes, some people make things happen, and some people watch things happen, and some people wonder what happened. So I think it's important that LUMS stays in the first category, where you make things happen, and Like you said, there will be bumps, and that's okay. We're almost out of time. It's my little indulgence to ask this last question, and I'll aim it at Marva first. Marva, in the last few weeks or days during this lockdown period, anything new that you've been doing, anything that you weren't doing otherwise, other than your professional work? Anything that you've discovered about yourself, any book that you wanted to read, any hobby? Like Adnan said, he started writing something to improve his handwriting. So that's new. Anything personal that you added to your repertoire, your personality?
Well, I don't want to admit this, but I think I've been binge watching on a lot of shows that I'd been saving for a while. But now I think I also thought that I could binge watch forever, but I recently learned that's not a possibility. So I'm a little shaken up by that. But in other than that, I've essentially been making up a nice little reading list, because I've got a little carried away by all the the library resources that have suddenly become available, and all the literature that's now just too readily accessible. So I've spent a couple of nights just downloading a lot of content. Also, essentially because there wasn't too much time to get into reading just yet, because we've been, again, busy with the various trainings that are happening and redesigning the courses a little bit. But now, since the classes have started and things are a little more streamlined, I think that's happening. Also quit the gym, but then restarted gymming. So that's the other thing.
Reading is always better than watching. So
yes,
just hold that thought. Adnan, anything other than improving your handwriting? Anything on a personal level that you've done that's been gratifying and you rediscovered?
खूब खाने पका रहा हूँ.
Excellent.
That's something, and hanging out with my little daughter more than I get a chance to, I think. So both of them have been rewarding in a sense. Khane pakate hue, not to sound pontificating, but I always think of there's quarantine and then there's quarantine. So, kuch logon ke liye it can afford this luxury. For others, it's a harder thing.
Yeah. Some are blessed and some are more blessed. Dr. Kamran, same question. Anything different, anything new, anything kind of homey or homely?
Yeah, I mean, the cooking part is of course there, but the thing that Adnan has said, that to really think about what is there for us as a society and as humanity in the future. Is this a kind of a reset? I mean, unfortunate as it is right now, for us to be more thoughtful about those who are less fortunate than us, and how do we sort of create a more equitable and a just space that everyone could sort of have the kinds of opportunities that people like myself and others have. That is one. The other thing, actually, and this may be a little awkward to say, that there is a certain kind of introspection, especially of people of my age, who every sneeze and every cough and every headache, one has a much more of a sense of one's own body. And so I started writing a little bit on the side about what is this, that how we are ourselves changing as humans. This whole experience sort of is creating a different kind of introspection and self-reflection about who we are. And I would, I think this kind of navel gazing is not as important. That may be my own preoccupation. I think the more important message for everyone, and especially our students and young people, is to sort of really think beyond oneself. There are elders in the household, there are people in the community, there are lots of ways in which we can sort of have to think beyond ourselves, because we need every single person to think of a future that would be better than what we have, that we are sort of experiencing, or that has been the past. Sorry, that's a kind of an abstract answer to a more simple question, I think.
We love abstract. We love abstract. A wonderful self-reflection, introspection. Such a wonderful thing to do. Dr. Arshad, anything you want to add? Though I subjected to this torture 4 days ago, but here's the same question. Anything new that you?
It's not torture at all. I think it's a really good question for all of us to answer. In my own case, I think I would echo many of the things said, but one thing that has really hit home to what Kamran just mentioned is about health. And so, we talk about proactive as an institution, proactive as a program or as a course, and as a faculty member, as an administrator, etc. But I mean, in terms of, you can't help others if you don't help yourself also, and health before anything else. So what I've found is that with more time on my hands, I'm paying more attention to my diet. I mean, diet and health are interlinked completely. But also every day, I never had the time to, spend as much as I am now in exercising regularly, 2-3 hours at least of intense exercise. It actually is giving me more energy than I could have ever imagined. And we all need that. So this is a little tip for young people. Keep in mind that it's not only old people who need to exercise, we all need to do that. It's a lot of fun as well if you can find some inspiration in the sports that interest you. So I hope that we will stick to this regimen, and it won't be transitory. And our reflections, as Kamran and Adnan and Marva and you yourself have pointed out, Adil, they are, they go beyond. They go beyond and impact someone else's life. And so generosity would be another trait I hope we can all maintain and let it flourish.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Dr. Arshad, Dr. Kamran, Dr. Adnan, and Marva. Thank you for your time and thank you for your insightful things and all the questions. Hopefully some of the questions have been answered, and we'll be back on Facebook Live on Thursday at 4 o'clock. And as my elders say, Basharte Zindagi. Thank you, all of you. Stay safe and be happy. Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz.